Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Math is Easy, Step by Step. This is part three of a three-part video. So this is the last part. In answering the test question, what was the hourly rental fee? And so when we left off of part two, I had showed you three options to divide. This is the option you're going to use when you are manually having to work division without a calculator. So I'm just going to jump right on in here and on into it and get started. And so the first step here, step one, is to move. Trying to be funny, I think, but that may not have been funny. But step one is to move the decimals one place value to the right, right? So we want to change this term on the outside into a whole number, not a decimal number, right? So if I take this decimal, move it to the right one, I'm going to take this decimal number, move it to the right one, right? So the decimal kind of disappears here when I move it to the right. It becomes invisible. And this is just an 85. The decimal here, I move it to the right. I can raise it up and put it above the divisor bar here. Why? Because we're looking for an answer that is money. How much per hour the rental fee was, right? So it's okay to have a decimal in your answer, right? So we can move this to the right, raise it right above that divisor bar, and then we can start to divide. Now, anytime you're dividing without a calculator, at least for me, I have to guess and check, right? And I'll talk a little bit about guess and check, right? So it does take a little bit of time, but if you know how to answer this question, it's worth taking your time. Again, as you're going through the exam, doing the problems you know first. Then come back, work on problems you think you can figure out, or at least eliminate some options to have a good guess. And then finally, before you finish the exam, guess on the questions that you just don't know how to answer. Who knows? You may guess a couple right, give you the percentage to pass that exam. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So again, move that decimal place one place to the right. So here's just one decimal place to turn this into a whole number, which would be 85. What you do on the left side here, you got to do to the right. You got to move that one decimal place. And then you're going to raise that decimal right above to show the divisor bar. So this is what we're going to be doing. It's called long division. All right, long division. Remember, hey, if I'm going too fast for you, please stop, pause, rewind. Watch the video as often as you need to in order to get that assistance. All right, I don't like to uh, go too fast. So here, what I'd like to do, if I can do this right without a whole lot of shaking going down here and messing everything up, I'd like to move this over so it's aligned, and I don't want to give any cheat. I want to go step by step. So again, we've got 85. We moved the decimal over. We raised it above the divisor bar. I know you see the answer here, but I'd like to show you how to guess and check onto the right, right? Because again, you're doing this without a calculator, doing this manually. And so the goal is what number times, right? What number times 85 will get me closest to 53? There are no numbers that gets me close to 53 if I multiply times 85, right? So then I move over and I move over a place uh, and I have 530. So what number, right above that last digit of my target number, 530, what number times 85 gets me the closest to 530 without going over, right? And again, this is where the guess and check comes into play. So I started with a friendly number 5. I multiplied 85 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. I put the 5 here. I carry the 2. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 2 is 425. So that fits the criteria. I did not go over 530. I'm under 530, but let's see if there's a bigger number than 5. And I'll try 6. So 85 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30. I'll put the 0 here. I'll carry the 3. 6, 8 times 6 is, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. 48. Let's see, I'm just drawing a blank. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 more is 48. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48, 49, 50, 51. So 510. So you just got a brain fart live on my video. We all have them, right? So again, let me start over. 6 times 5 is 30, so 0, 3. 8 times 6 is 48. 49, 50, 51. So 510. 85 times 6 is 510. Is that greater than 530? No, right? So I know that 6 times 85 gives me closest to 530 without going over. So I'm going to subtract 510. Now, 85 times 7 would be 510 plus another 85. I know that'd be 595. 595 is larger than 530, so I'm not going to try 7. Again, this is a timed exam, so I'm just going to stick with the 6. Plus, 2 of the options in the answers were 5 and 6, right? I eliminated the option D. All right, so I'm going to subtract 510 from 530, okay? I'm going to put my 6 right above that 0. And so when you do that, 510 take away from 530 leaves me 20, right? And I know I have to bring down that 4 value here. Now I have 204. 85 times what number would get me closest to 204? Oh, and by the way, you can add on as many zeros as you like. These zeros go on forever, never, never, never. I'm just showing you I added 3, and this will help me out a little bit later. So anyway, moving on here. So what number times 85 gets me closest to 204? Well, I know 85 plus 85 is about 170. Another 85 would be too much. So I've tried 2. 85 times 2 is 170, right? So I'm going to subtract 170, put the 2 right above the 4, right? My last term. And I'm going to subtract 170 from 204. That gets me 34, right? And again, you can see my guess and check here. 85 times 2 is 170. That checks off. So when I subtract 170 from 204, that leaves me 34. And I know there's no number times 85 that will give me 34. So I bring down that 0. Now it's 340, right? So what number times 85, what number times 85 gets me closest to 340, right? Brought this whole 0 down, just like when I brought the 4 down. So I brought the 0 down. 85 times 2 was 170, so 85 times 3 would be 85 plus the 170. So I guess and check 4. I just guess and check. Guess and check, right? And so I want to show you here. Again, my target was 340. 85 times 4, right? So 5 times 4 is 20. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 2 more is 340. So I'm going to subtract 340 from 340. And that leaves me 0. I can bring down that other 0 to show 0. Once I get to 0, I know my answer. We started with 8 hours, 8.5 hours, right? Goes into a total of $53.04. I'm showing you up here. We move the decimals. I end up with 0. $6.24 per hour. What option was that? Option B was 6 hours, $6.24 per hour. So again, showing you the long division here. A lot of guess and checking when you're doing this type of math by hand, but guess what? You can do it. Don't quit. Don't give up. Remember, math is easy. Take it step by step. Hey, thank you for joining me. Please like, follow, and share these videos.